Hi, I'm Jody.
And I'm Allison.
And you're listening to the Blume Saloon.
It's a Judy Blume book club!
I could tell you were just waiting to say that. You took a deep breath and then
I was so excited to close my eyes and I was just like, book club, I'm so pumped.
We need a mantra.
Yeah, if anyone wants to write in and suggest some mantras, we'll send you a button.
Yes! Oh, so I know we've been teasing these pins for a while, but they're finally coming very soon. Probably, hopefully within the next week. I know I keep saying that.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to put one on everything I own.
Yes, maybe we could even make them into earrings.
Oh, okay.
You'd have
Oh
to
my God, yeah.
widen your ear hole a little bit.
mine will do it.
Through. Yeah, just shove it.
Mm-hmm.
Up the gauging a little bit.
I used to do that.
Did you?
In high school.
How wide did you get?
Not very wide because my mom did not like it. She was very mad. And now when I see people and their ears are all stretched out, I'm like, Mom, good on ya.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, the early 2000s.
Well, I had an eyebrow ring.
Oh my God.
I still have a scar from it.
That blows my mind.
Did you have any?
A belly button ring.
Oh, yeah.
Which is looking real weird with the pregnancy.
Wait, you still have it?
No,
just
but like the hole, like it never really, like it's pretty big hole.
We all got tattoos instead.
Oh, exactly. Regret some of those too.
What's your regrettable tattoo?
Oh God, like everything I've gotten.
You've got some great ones.
One. Yeah, they're just a little impulsive.
So what's the worst, in your opinion?
The worst is probably my first one because it's like right on my hip and it's like a little flower. And because I was named after the Elvis Costello song, it says my aim is true. So it's just a little like not sexy.
Yeah.
And just random.
What colors is it?
Oh, it's like blue and green and like really faded and oddly stretched right now.
How's the typography? Because that's really important.
It's bad.
Oh,
it's bad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like. That's the thing is like being someone who has a background in art. That's the thing. If I would have actually thought about them more,
right,
I would have
had better taste.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're impulsive and you're like, I just want to get a tattoo, like. You
want to get a tattoo for the sake of having a tattoo, then the subject matter is an afterthought.
So now, like, my last tattoo that Tyler actually drew for
the
me,
kitty.
That is my ultimate favorite. If every tattoo I had was like that, I'd be so happy.
You should describe it to our listeners.
Oh, yeah. So it's really awesome. It's just black ink, line work, and it's a cat in profile playing with a ball of yarn. But inside of that ball of yarn is a pentagram.
So good.
Yeah, because I needed a pentagram. And it's like it's one of my more obvious tattoos and shows fairly often. And I'm like, yeah, I do have a pentagram on my arm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hail Satan.
My regrettable one. Well, I only have two. One I love, because that was, when you get them when you're older
so
and you take the time it takes to like make good decisions. But the first one I got, it was the day I graduated high school with my friend UC. Shout out UC if you're listening, which you're probably not.
Hey,
but
UC.
She got Winnie the Pooh with a pot of honey in her crotch area.
Oh my God.
And I got just picked off the wall like a flash tattoo, a black Pegasus.
Like a Pegasus is awesome.
But
I would get a Pegasus now.
Here's the thing. It doesn't look like a Pegasus. It is a big blob, and people think it's a spider. They think it's a pot leaf. No one has ever looked at it and guessed that it's a Pegasus.
Oh, man.
You just got to accept it.
That's kind of where I am now. It's like, well, they're just part of who I am.
Yes, like a birthmark.
I am that person that got these tattoos. I feel like tattooing is better now.
Definitely.
Well, and with Pinterest. I feel
exactly.
like people can get way cooler tattoos and understand that, like, the artist is important. You can't just go to that weird shop next to the tanning salon you work at.
Is that what you did?
Yes!
That's another fact about you that I love, is that you had a long-time job at a tanning salon.
Oh, yeah, in high school.
Which, you guys, if you like knew Allison in person now, which you kind of do, let's face it, after listening to the Blume Saloon for 8 episodes, you know us. You would never guess that she worked at a tanning salon.
At Cincinnati Tan.
For
years.
You got free tans or discount tans?
Yeah, we had... Well, they weren't free. but we were also like required to be tan.
Oh.
So like that was kind of messed up.
They don't want no pale gals up front.
Right, like I got in trouble for not tanning enough
Jesus
sometimes.
Christ.
Because it was like a lot of sales and like...
And this is full on tanning, right? This isn't like the spray tan. This is
They had spray tan, and I did that a few times. Like I did that for like prom. Like if you wanted an extra boost, you would do the spray tan. Which I really should have just done the spray tan and not done anything else because tanning is bad for you.
I remember hearing this. That people said it was safer than the spray tans because the spray tan is chemicals.
Sure,
but
God knows
the real
what's in
tan is sunlight.
The best was like having to go into the booth and like show people what they had to do. It was the mystic tan, you know, and you'd like you stand this way.
Oh, you
for
do the
this
Running
long,
Man,
and you stand
right?
You stand this way exactly, and you cover your feet and your hair, and
people always fuck it up.
Oh, it's so easy to do. I went one time and had them like spray me at a place before a wedding. Do you want abs? Like they ask you, you know, if you want like more detailed cleavage or like abs, because it's just like you're standing there naked and a person is spraying you with a spray gun. It's crazy.
Tyler hates it.
When you're tan?
He wouldn't say it looked bad, but he just said it does not. He didn't say it looked good. Let's put it that way. Thank you.
I think the smell is the weirdest part.
Yeah.
You kind of smell like off-brand Cheez-Its.
Up.
Yeah, that's what it smells like to me.
I never thought of that.
And you can't shower for, you know, like so long afterwards, and you're all like sticky.
Behind the knees.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So
here we are now at the Blume Saloon.
Blume Saloon, we're reading Tiger Eyes by Judy Blume.
Indeed we are.
Chapters, okay, let me see if I get it right this time, 16 through 20.
That's right.
Yay!
You nailed it.
Nailed it. But before we start right in, we have some letters to read you.
We do.
Thank you to Bronwyn and Kim for writing in. Do you want me to read Kim's first?
Yeah, let's go right into it.
Okay, so if you remember, a couple episodes ago, we went off on a very long tangent about Los Alamos, New Mexico. We dove deep and we asked our listeners to write to us. We begged our listeners to write to us if they've ever been to Los Alamos.
Per usual.
Yeah.
We're begging listeners to write to us.
Begging. So Kim so kindly responded to that beg, so thank you. She says, "Hi, Jody and Allison. I have been there. Los Alamos, New Mexico. I lived in Albuquerque in the 90s and worked at an engineering firm there. I had to stay in Los Alamos once to go to traffic count." Wait, I think she meant court, but it says count. Is there such a thing as traffic count?
No, traffic. It would definitely be traffic court.
I believe I stayed at the Hilltop House Hotel. I remember eating at the Hill Diner, which had an amazing banana cream pie.
The Hill!
Yeah. Sadly, I Googled the Hill Diner tonight and discovered that they closed in 2013. Good news, though. Their best dishes, including the pie, are now being served at Dixie Girl. Well, that's what the article I read earlier tonight said. But now, a new Google search revealed that the Dixie Girl was renamed the Manhattan Project in 2014 and then closed, possibly in 2015. Sigh. The older I get, this is how all of my restaurant recommendations go. I love that she was just writing this in real time. Real-time discoveries.
Yeah.
That's what we do here, too.
I was going to say, it's very fitting for our podcast.
Then she finishes, "Anyway, I've been to Los Alamos. That's pretty much the whole story. Enjoying the Blume Saloon. Can't wait to hear more." Well, thank you so much, Kim.
Kim, thank you.
That was perfect. That was really just exactly what we wanted to hear.
Well, and it was great to hear all the different names that restaurant actually took on, you know, from the Hill Diner to the Dixie Girl to the Manhattan Project, which is very fitting.
They're really embracing their, you know, just the one thing they have going for them.
Nuclear energy.
Mm-hmm. And weapons.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, those too.
I still want to go.
Oh, my God, I want to go so bad. Like, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, we'll fly into Albuquerque, and then we'll have to take the same drive that Davey took, and, like, I will be, like, looking out the windows, and, like, oh, this is all the same
look, there's Diamond Drive. Oh, look, there's Los Alamos High School.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad the TG&Y isn't there anymore.
No. But maybe there's a TCBY.
Yeah!
I also worked at TCBY in high school.
You did not.
That was my very first job. It didn't last very long because the guy that owned it just basically like left us 15-year-old girls in charge. We would close the place down at like 10 o'clock by ourselves, and I just didn't like it. And he watched us on camera and would like see that we were giving too big of scoops to people and like too much yogurt, and we'd have to like weigh it.
That's so funny. I got in trouble at a tea shop I worked at, House of Tea in Houston, Texas for a while, and I got in trouble for the exact opposite. I was giving too little ice and too little beverage to fill up the cup.
Oh.
And a customer reported me to my manager.
Oh my God.
Sorry, this is a total tangent. I'll just explain really quickly that it was a specialty drink that we made, and we only had one pitcher of it to last the whole day. So
you were
I
trying
wanted
to be good about it.
Spread the love. I'm not gonna like tip it, top off your cup to the very tip if you only have a little bit to go around. So that was wow. That's a big crow that just landed up there.
Big crow right
very
outside the
Game
window.
of Thrones looking.
It's quite ominous.
I know. Go away.
Anyway,
okay, Allison, please read us our second letter.
Yeah, I've got a letter from Bronwyn. Good morning. First of all, I want to say this podcast is awesome. Aw,
Thank
Bronwyn,
you.
we think you're awesome. I love it so much. I listen to it every morning while getting ready for work, and it really helps to get the morning going, especially because my husband Nathan sleeps an hour later than me, and I have no one to talk to. Aww. I understand. I read both books when I was younger, and everything you were saying is bringing me back to being a kid, snuggled under my covers, and completely immersing myself into the world of Judy Blume. I'm finally caught up listening to all the podcasts, having been on vacation. I was very far behind. And a few connections that I wanted to make to both Tiger Eyes. Number 1, I can definitely relate to Davy and what she's going through with the grief of her father. When my dad passed away, I was 29. I didn't get out of bed, shower, or eat for 3 days. My best friend came over and literally dragged me out of bed. I'd been wearing the same white tank top and men's boxer shorts for 3 days in the Sacramento June heat. I was gross and so sad. She made me go get a slice of pizza with her. I chose not to change or put on a bra. So I went through Midtown Sacramento with no bra, a see-through white tank top, and men's boxers on. It wasn't until we ran into a few friends and I saw the looks on their faces when they saw my state did I realize that I needed to shower and start taking better care of myself. Hearing what she's going through has brought back some memories, and I'm happy to be in the Blume cocoon because of it.
Oh,
Thank you for
we're glad
sharing
you're wearing
this.
proper clothes now. You did good.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
And it's good to see that, Judy Blume is keeping it real.
Yeah.
Per usual. What she's writing about Davy is very close to a real experience. And I love that.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate and, find comfort in reading about similar story.
We really love reading these letters. So please send them our way. And we love you, friends.
It's true. BlumeSaloon@gmail.com.
So the characters from this episode, we actually got some new ones this time. As usual, we've got Davy Wexler. We've got Wolf. Her love interest. Canyon buddy. We've got Witsy, which is Uncle Walter and Aunt Bitsy. Overprotective. Also, maybe have alcohol problems. We've got Mom. Mom's not doing so hot. We've got Jason, Davy's brother. Danielle is a new character, a new gal at school.
I think we can safely say she's the best new character.
The coolest character I've encountered so far. We've got Ruben. And Ruben's friend, what's his name?
Ned?
I forgot to write it down.
Is it
Ted.
Ned? Ted?
It's Ted.
Okay.
Maybe it is Ned.
It's Ted.
Okay. Okay, good. We've got Jane.
Yeah.
Jane's great. Love
really
what we
is.
got out of Jane. We've got Jane's parents, Brenda and Bud, and her sister Linda, and Linda's husband Howard, and baby Robbie. And Willie Ortiz
Oh,
at the hospital.
Willie. I remember him from reading the book the first time, and I don't remember him coming in so late in the game. So I'm really glad to finally see him.
Oh, that's exciting. He must be a pretty meaningful
He's a good
character.
one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. And then we've got chapter 16.
Yeah.
Things are heating up. Davy rides to the canyon wearing her fisherman's sweater. So we know it's a little chillier.
Yeah.
The leaves there are changing, starting to get cool out. She's got to bundle up a bit more. And it's the first Saturday after Davy's first week at high school. And so Wolf's been wondering where she is. He's waiting. Where have you been, Tiger? Ooh. Davy finally explains to Wolf that her sad eyes are because her father is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, I can really relate to that. My father's dying.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get more out of this exchange. We just know that it's, kind of a more somber day in the canyon. She comments to Wolf that she's sad for not making him laugh. But he says he didn't feel like it anyways.
Reality has invaded her relationship with Wolf.
Uh-oh.
Do you think things will ever be the same between them now?
I think they'll be stronger, deeper relationship. Although Davy is only 15, so I hope it's not that deep.
Yeah, don't go too deep.
And Davy gets home and she says she really misses her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom just sleeps the day away.
Yeah.
Which is so sad. At dinner, Walter gives Davy a card for their membership at the bomb shelter. And I want to read a piece of this.
This is so crazy.
It came out of nowhere, but it was great. So, he says really seriously, here's this card. It's for the bomb shelter. You're a member since you're part of our family, and you should remember these numbers in case anything were to happen. She says, are we going to have a war? Are we going to be bombed? And then here's what we get from Walter. No. At least I hope not. But it's always better to be prepared. The problem with this country is we never act until it's too late. The Russians, on the other hand, have an outstanding civil defense program. So timely. If they're attacked, chances are they'll survive. I wish I could say the same for us. It's just like the energy crisis. This country is waiting until the lights go out. Then we'll see how fast we accept nuclear energy. But by then, it'll be too late. Too late. Anyway, keep your card. Chances are you'll never need it. What? And then we learn he's on his third glass of brandy.
Yes.
So then I was like, well, I need to know more about these membership bomb shelters. Little did I know, there is a booming industry of these membership-only bomb shelters.
What the fuck?
It's crazy.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of it. The big one now is this company called Vivos.
Okay.
Vivos. We will definitely link to their website because it's bananas. And it's in Indiana. Up to 1,000 people can live there. And it has, everything you need. It has laundry. It has the beds. It has the food. It even has clothes.
Wow.
Which made me think that, oh my God, all these people are going to go to this bomb shelter and then dress alike and drink the Kool-Aid. It gets very culty very quickly.
And in those close quarters, there's no escape and there's no real...
But they're big and luxury.
Oh, okay.
So there's a movie theater.
And
it's crazy.
Well then, that just changes everything.
So it's in Vivos, Indiana, which is 1 day's drive from anywhere in the Midwestern U.S. And also the East Coast.
So did they locate it there because of its complete remote?
Well, so they were buying up old bomb shelters from the Cold War and then building them out. It's really, this guy is fascinating. He's made a lot of money because people pay on average $35,000 a person to reserve this space.
Wow.
So my big question is, it's like you're reserving this space, right? But can you go on the weekends and have a
Just
retreat?
hang out? Yeah.
Can this be your vacation home? I know you don't want to deplete the resources, but I feel like you need to get something out of it in the short term.
Like maybe you don't have time to like go on a cruise or anything. You just go underground and stay in the bunker.
So the closest one to us is Vivo's X Point, which is 575 bunkers, and it's the largest survival community on Earth, and it's in southwestern South Dakota.
So you say bunker. So is it?
It's like a complex of them. They're all like connected, and you have similar like shared kind of cohabitation spaces.
Yeah,
like the kitchens and the laundry and all that stuff.
Oh, so there is some privacy. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He was saying, so there's one in Europe, Vivos Europa 1. And it says it's located in the heart of Europe. I found out it's in Germany. And
in the heart of Europe.
Yeah. And that's invitation only for 34 high net worth families. But there's interest from just one family to buy them all.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I really love the website lists all of the different reasons you need these. All of the things that could happen to us as a people. Nuclear war, bio-war, terrorism, anarchy. If anarchy just happens, you know, electromagnetic pulse,
whoa,
solar flares, pole shift, which is like proven to not be real.
Happen.
A killer comet.
Oh, that could happen.
It could, but like nobody's gonna be like, oh, get to the shelter, the killer comet's here. Just like, no, that'd just be the end, and we'd be dead. A global tsunami. Again. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be like, okay, we're all gone.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen. Planet X.
What is that?
It's this, like, mysterious, like, dead planet that could, like, come and crash into Earth. Like, there's a lot of people, like, conspiring about this online.
Oh.
Or a super volcano.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just thought it was really exciting to read all of these.
Yeah.
They also have a cryo vault. So they have a genome vault, so you can just send your DNA for free, and they'll store your DNA for you. It's the only private human DNA vault on Earth.
What is the practical use of storing your DNA?
So there's a video on the website, and their whole thing is that your DNA dies as you get older, and so they're gonna come up with ways to use your DNA to like make you live forever.
Oh, this is a fountain of youth.
Yeah, it's a fountain of youth. The application process was pretty funny to me too. You know, to be considered, you have to first become a member of like their web forum, which I imagine is just like shit tons of like doomsday prepper chat.
Yeah.
Maybe people are finding love connections.
Oh.
Who knows? And then you have to like fill out this whole application of like why and what do you add. There are very few remaining spaces for this shelter. That's the Vivos, Indiana shelter. So discounts are available to members with needed skill sets.
Do they say what they are?
No. But like some of the options, you know, it's like martial artist.
Ooh.
Fisherman.
Do they need any graphic designers?
Artist is the closest thing.
Okay.
I don't know why they don't have anyone working in advertising. But they have, you know, beautician. There's just like so many funny ones. They have like a whole dog, you know, like area, like in a pet area. Of course, so you can bring your pets.
Menagerie.
Mm-hmm. Hospitality. What if you're just like, well, I'm just hospitality.
I'm an usher.
Yeah. Lawyer. So I could.
Are people going to sue each other within the bomb shelter?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you've got to start a whole new kind of
civilization,
exactly.
Wow.
So I couldn't really get enough of this, and there's some great photos in these articles. Look at these luxury kitchens. Also, note they do everything in twos.
Why is that?
Because there's like a weird Noah thing happening. So like 2 ovens.
Like the fridge is marched 2
fridges.
by 2. Hurrah, hurrah.
Exactly.
The ovens march.
As long as you have 2 ovens, they can mate with one another.
You know, last, or maybe it was the episode prior to that, we were talking about master plan communities. I mean, this is the next level.
Oh, yeah. It's the prepper master plan.
Uh-huh.
And so there are a lot of companies that sell these really high-end shelters that you can have in your yard, you know, saying that the ones of the past, if you've got one from the Cold War, forget it, it doesn't do anything anymore. You need 10-foot high ceilings and air filtration and all this stuff. Like, which I get, but I love my family. But I'm not trying to, like, live in a bomb shelter forever with them.
No.
Doesn't that sound just like the worst thing?
All I can think of is I'd rather perish instantly when the super volcano erupts or when Planet X hits us.
Yeah, if anarchy comes.
Yeah. Take me now.
Take me now, anarchy.
A good special report.
Oh, thanks.
Wow, I am so impressed. I am blown away, you might say. Chapter 17. So the chapter begins with Davy. She's musing about just clubs and belonging. She's thinking long and hard about this.
Deep thought.
Oh, that is a deep thought, isn't it?
Interesting. But yeah, based on, you know, Bitsy having been a part of like a million clubs,
i.e. jazzercise, which I love,
and batiking.
Batik. What is batik? Weaving?
I think so.
Okay, we'll have to look that one up.
But odds and ends.
But also walking. She has a walking group and she has a book club.
Yeah, all the cool things.
And on that same note, we learn about Danielle. Now, Allison introduced Danielle very briefly. I'll tell you a little more about her. She is a member of the Society for the Preservation of Creative Anachronisms.
I can't believe this is a thing I didn't know about.
It's totally a thing.
And I really want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I just know that already, and I haven't even heard your special report.
Yeah. Well, they're basically LARPers, or like Ren Fair folk, you know, which we love Ren Fair.
We love Ren Fair. We love role-playing.
We love Dickens Fair.
Yep. We're in.
All that. So Danielle's outfit consists of a toga, a cape, medieval sandals that lace up her legs, and here's the best part. A fuzzy hobbit-like creature, this is how Davy describes it, pinned to her shoulder.
It doesn't say cape.
No, there is a cape. There's a scene where she like swoops her cape around her later.
So I'm like reading the exact part where it's describing her. I'm like, there's not a cape.
And she wears a witch's hat and a fake mustache and
okay. There,
a tail.
So there is a cape. But yeah, she does have a fuzzy hobbit-like creature pinned to her shoulder.
So I'm just imagining like a troll doll.
A human troll doll? Oh, no.
Like a troll doll.
I thought you were imagining Danielle being like a troll doll.
No. Like, that's amazing. Danielle's a troll.
I went to the Alameda flea market this morning, and there was a booth with so many troll dolls.
Oh, man. I used to have a lot, too.
I loved them, especially when you got one with the diamond in their belly button.
To match your own belly button ring.
Exactly.
So Danielle is not a troll. She is a human. She knits during class, which I thought was very interesting, and she never takes notes, but she still manages to get straight A's.
One of those kids.
She also has garlic breath, which Davy is repulsed by.
Ooh.
So this is her MO. She tries to convince Davy that her club is really cool and fun because they have jousting matches. Davy's like, I'm not really into jousting, thank you. And she also wonders if Danielle is gay because Danielle puts her arm around Davy in like an awkward attempt to be her friend. And it's funny that Davy just like jumped to that conclusion because someone touched her on the shoulder. But
right.
I think Davy's a little judgy. We've said that before.
It's true. She talks about Jane not having a chin.
Yeah.
Davy's a little, well, I think it's good. 15-year-olds are typically pretty self-absorbed. And so I think that's kind of her deal.
Yeah.
Like if anyone wants to be that close to her, they must like her.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess I'll take this moment to tell you about the Society of Creative Anachronisms.
Please.
So, their mission is to create a living history for the study of medieval European cultures.
Oh my God, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. So they, and this is in quotes, selectively recreate the culture, choosing elements as they ought to have been, So this is what we're talking about when we talk about Ren Fair, because you go to Ren Fair and it's not historically accurate, but it's everyone's like fantasy of how it should have been.
Right.
Founded in 1966 at a college graduation party at UC Berkeley, which is just up the street from us.
It would be.
Like only a mile away from where we are right now. And it started on May Day. It was a May Day party, which was just a couple days ago.
That's so timely.
Yes. So this is what happened at the party, the May Day party at UC Berkeley. They had a makeshift jousting match, which climaxed into a parade down Telegraph Avenue, which again is just up the street, with everyone singing Green Sleeves. Doesn't that sound amazing?
I was gonna say, is there any video from them? But like, it was probably too long ago.
Yeah, maybe some like film.
I
footage.
gotta. Yeah, I gotta see this.
They fancied themselves as a protest against the 20th century. That was the whole mindset there. They still, to this day, measure their dates in years from the date of that party. So this year would be Anno Societas, is what they call it, 51.
I mean, it is so silly that we measure time.
Right, from
when
the birth
Jesus
of
died.
sweet baby Jesus.
After he died. Yeah, when he died.
It was when he was born, wasn't it?
No.
It was after he died?
Oh. I don't know.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's go back to... and then they became an official, like, not 501c3 nonprofit in 68. So they're, like, a legit organization and soon established kingdoms across the U.S.
What?
So it was West, East, and Middle.
Oh, man. I cannot believe we don't know about this already.
Well, we just got to talk to our Ren Fair friends.
I know. I'm sure that some of them belong.
Yeah.
Ooh, especially that glassblower that was like a scientist that worked for like Intel, and
we'll find him next year.
Yeah, he's really cool.
And then these three kingdoms branched off into a bunch of sub-kingdoms with amazing names. Here are some of the names. Anstiora.
Ooh.
Glian.
Ooh.
Merides.
Pretty.
Trimaris.
Trimaris.
Do they sound like lovely girls' names?
Yeah.
And the main activities that go on within these kingdoms are armored combat, feasting, my favorite thing, medieval dance, music and theater, study of heraldry and calligraphy. Sounds awesome. And practice of war formations.
Ooh.
And so there are actually annual wars between the kingdoms, staged wars. One thing that's pretty fun is that each member of this group develops a persona. So they get to pick a name that's culturally appropriate, and you can get help from like an expert namer to help you come up with your...
Where do we find them?
I don't know. But you can't be a historical figure like Julius Caesar or even like Robin Hood.
So it has to be made up.
Mm-hmm. And then, so once you have your persona and your device, which is what they call your coat of arms, your device, then you register in the heraldry system, and then you're checked for authenticity. So it's very legit.
Oh my God, I love
very
that.
legit. And there's some controversy.
Tell me more.
Always some controversy.
Oh.
Because the minimum standard of attendance to these gatherings is, in quotes, an attempt at pre-17th century clothing. So as you can guess, an attempt is very loose, and that can mean anything. So some people show up in like Jane, she's wearing a toga,
Right.
Fuzzy creature on her shoulder. So they're the purists who really kind of look down their noses at these societies because it's not really that authentic.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be wearing like pajamas every time.
Like, these are my street urchin pajamas.
That's like what I'm always tempted to buy at the Red Fairs, like the underclothes.
Yeah.
Like, this seems about right. I'm into that.
So that's what I got. That's my special report.
Oh my goodness. We've both learned so much today about bomb shelters and cool clubs. And
I barely even talked about the book.
But I feel like we both need to really reevaluate our life and what we're focusing on, because there are two cool things right here in front of us that we could be a part of.
Right. What are we fucking doing with our lives?
Podcasting.
Back to Tiger Eyes. Davy quickly decides to be a candy striper at the hospital solely to avoid the Society of Creative Anachronisms with Danielle.
Yeah, she tries to use Bitsy's excuse of being overextended. And Danielle's like calling bullshit of like, well, what are you actually doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part. Yeah. She's really she just won't let it go.
Yeah. And so Davy's like, well, I'm a candy striper. And once someone says that, you can't
go back on your word.
Yeah. And you can't fight.
And then after that, Davy gives us a great glimpse into the school's subcultures.
Yes.
So we've got the coneheads, who are the stereotypical nerds. They're the ones that wear their calculators strapped to their belt. Mm-hmm. Probably want to be scientists just like their fathers at the lab. There's the Lodies, which we've touched upon.
Yeah.
They're the drug addicts, like the partiers. So well. I guess hit a chord with me when I read this when I was a kid. And the jocks, and we all know what jocks are. Jocks are jocks. Mm-hmm. And then the stomps, she briefly described in a previous chapter. But I love how she says everyone just laughs at everyone. So the coneheads laugh at the jocks laugh at the Lodies laugh at the stomps. So there's definitely a hierarchy.
And we learned about the real lack of diversity.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
On the hill.
Yeah, I actually wrote down like how she broke it down for us.
It's interesting.
So there's only 1 or 2 Black people, no Native Americans, and only a few Hispanic kids who she notes whose fathers do maintenance at the lab. So very Anglo is how she describes it.
And she thinks it's weird.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Because I'm sure in Atlantic City there was a much more diverse student body, and she never thought twice about it.
And Linnea is her best friend, and Linnea is Black, and so yeah.
Then Davy goes to geometry, and they have an absentee teacher who just apparently never shows up to class, and he makes them watch film strips.
Yes, my civics and economics teacher my senior year of high school was the same way. Would just like put on a movie and just like go out in the hall and just like fuck around.
That's insane.
We watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou for like weeks.
Like multiple times?
Yeah, I swear we did.
Oh my God. In French class, we watched this multiple times. Manon de la Source. Did you ever take French?
No, I took Spanish. We watched La Catrine.
That sounds so exotic.
Yeah.
She watches a film strip on hemophilia.
Yeah. It's
what the hell?
That's what's so lame is that he leaves them with a video that's not even related to the subject matter he's supposed to be teaching. And it's just a school movie. So like they don't even get anything cool.
No. Especially it's not cool for Davy, who is already having a hard time dealing with the sight of blood, after her father's murder. So traumatic for her. It sounds like she's, undergoing some PTSD symptoms, and she has a panic attack. She can't breathe. She feels like she's going to throw up at the sight of the blood. So she leaves the room to catch her breath. And then Ruben shows up out of the blue.
Yeah, and she mentions he's been looking at her. He's a conehead, too.
She says he's somewhere between a conehead and a regular person, which I thought was awesome. That actually made me laugh out loud. He, seizes this moment. He's like, ooh, I can finally talk to this girl.
Take advantage of her feeling
damsel
down.
Yeah. Oh, can't stand the sight of blood, eh? Like, oh, my God.
Yeah, she's not having it.
No, fuck this shit. She basically is like, go back to class. I'm out of here. And then she walks out of school. No permission. No excuses. Boom. Done. So then she gets home. The only person at home is her mom, her poor mother, who's in her usual spot, in her bedroom, on the bed, crying, splayed out. Photos of her husband in her hand.
She's all groggy.
Oh, yeah. She's fucked up. Drugs. Yeah. I mean, we've decided it's not headache medicine.
No.
And Davy was like, Mom, you have to stop taking this medicine. Can you hear me? Doesn't even register really who she is.
Ugh.
But she's like, yes, I have to stop. Like a zombie.
Yeah, more of that weird, zombie-like. I want to go up and never come down.
Oh, God, yeah.
She's already going through so much. She needs someone to be strong. And she's saying, I feel like the parent. We've switched roles.
Right. But she can't be angry at her mom for too long because she remembers how her mom was there for her back in Atlantic City right after her father died. Davy was the one who was in bed, like we said, and her mom really did help her recover. And so finally, Bitsy takes mom to the, I was going to say takes her to the airport, but no, she takes her to the doctor. And like we've been saying all along, my God. They say, hey, you need to go to a therapist.
Finally.
Yes.
I don't know why that wasn't just like a mandatory.
Yeah, it should be mandatory. Well, no, it shouldn't, because you don't want to force anyone. But
no, but that should have been like the first thing they suggested.
Exactly. So mom is like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So she's starting to make an effort. She joins the family for dinner that night for the first time in a week. She tells everybody at the dinner table that she's going to get herself together. And she says, I haven't been the same person since before Adam. She kind of trails off. She can't finish her sentence. And Davy is like, died. Just flat out said it. He died.
Yeah.
And people at the dinner table seem to be kind of shocked that she was so blunt. But come on, you got to talk about this.
She's being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to be open.
It's true. And I just thought, my dad died. He had cancer for 9 months, so it was relatively quick as far as cancer goes, thankfully. So it wasn't a sudden death. But we still didn't ever really believe he was going to pass away. So we never had that moment where we said goodbye or anything. So it wasn't sudden like Davy's dad, but it felt emotionally sudden. After he passed, I was like, fuck. Coming from a British family, it's kind of stiff upper lip. Just go on with your day. Don't get too emotional. Cinco de Mayo just passed, and he passed away on Cinco de Mayo 2012.
Oh, wow.
So that was 5 years ago, just last week, and it's crazy. Reading this book, I draw a lot of parallels. Same with Davy's family. I could never bring myself to say he died. It was always a euphemism, like he passed or he's gone. So there is something about saying that word that freaks people out.
You've got to actually think about it.
Mm-hmm. Even if you are comfortable saying it, I think it freaks other people out sometimes. They don't know what to say to that.
Right.
It's just kind of a game, like a showstopper, not a showstopper, like a conversation stopper.
Yeah.
Props to Davy for just getting it out there. Sometimes you just got to break the ice. But then fucking Betsy, she just changes the subject. She's like, everybody eat up your chicken tetrazzini. It's going to get cold in this altitude. Blah, 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 altitude. She blames everything on the altitude. I'm just so mad at her right now.
Yeah, Bitsy is annoying.
Mm-hmm. And that's the end of chapter 17. It ends on a really tough note. We're ready.
Okay. Chapter 18. Jane and Davy head to the hospital to volunteer as candy stripers because now that's what Davy's doing. She has to stick to it. At the training, Jane tells Davy how someone, a patient, flashed her sister when she was a candy striper. God, and Davy's like, okay, gross. And that's kind of the end of it. But you can tell Davy's a little stressed out by that. And I would be too. I actually have never thought about that. And that would really freak me out.
She does not want to see a yucky penis
in
a hospital room.
And so she's on water duty. That's one of the tasks as candy stripers that they do. They go in and they fill all the waters of all the different patients. And they just really help out the nurses. They deliver packages. They do all kinds of kind of little things.
Like intern kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And while she's on water duty, she meets Willie Ortiz. And he's, a nice, slightly creepy man, an older gentleman. She says, with a New Mexico accent. So he's got a little bit of a Spanish accent. And she's afraid he might flash her. But he really just wants to talk. He seems really sweet. He tells her he's dying. He has cancer. And that he worked maintenance at the lab for the last 15 years. It's a really short chapter. Jane and Davy are leaving, and they have a short conversation about how they'd like to die. If it would be, Davy asked Jane, would you rather be shot or would you rather die of cancer? Which you can tell Davy's thinking about, and she's like, I've got someone to talk to. Jane is my friend. I can talk to her a little bit about this. Mm-hmm. Do you want to read this exchange real quick?
Yeah.
All right, Jody's Davy.
If you had your choice,
Would you rather die slowly of cancer or fast, like being shot?
I'm not sure. With the cancer, you'd have time to get ready, and you'd feel so sick, and you'd probably want it to be over. If you got shot, well, it'd be so sudden.
And you wouldn't have time to say goodbye.
So you can tell that's what Davy's kind of struggling with right now, is that she didn't have time to say goodbye, that it did happen so suddenly. So yeah, it's intensity in these few chapters. And then we've got chapter 19. Bitsy feeds Davy and Jason bran in their cereal now because she's reading How to Feed Your Kids Right. Like we said, she's really into that instant motherhood.
She's loving it. And she doesn't want them to get hemorrhoids.
Yeah, she lets them know that if they have the bran, it prevents hemorrhoids. And they're like, what?
What's a hemorrhoid?
And she's like, well, yeah, you don't want to find out. So she's trying to keep them regular. And Mom is seeming better since therapy. She joins Bitsy for jazzercise.
I love it.
And she actually makes dinner.
Yeah.
She makes a spinach pie. But Walter doesn't like it because this brandy drinking man is also a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Of course he fucking is.
Oh,
He's gonna live in his bunker with his meat and potatoes and his rifle and his brandy.
I hate it. I hate it a lot.
I'm not liking Walter in these few chapters.
No, Walter's
to be quite
just
honest.
becoming more and more stereotypical, gross, like 1980s man.
Yeah.
And so this makes for a pretty tense table. And Davy remembers that they all had spinach pie on the night of her father's murder. And the next night, Davy babysits while Mom and Witsy head to a party. Mom is really nervous, and Davy realizes she hasn't left them alone since the night of the murder. And so she's like, I can stay if you want me to stay. And they all encourage her, no, you should go out. You should do something. And Davy and Jason stay home and they play some Monopoly. The adults leave. And, Davy starts to kind of tickle Jason and tease him. And she corners him. And she asks him, why don't you ever cry or talk about Dad? Don't you miss him? And Jason runs away, pissed. And, from upstairs crying, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. And because he's a 7-year-old boy, he's having a hard time processing it.
Right.
And this kind of cornering by Davy is obviously not the best way to handle it. But
And remember, she likens tickling to torture, and that's kind of torturous.
Totally. And she realized, she just can't ask him, but she just wants to talk to someone who feels the same way she does. And she knows that Jason feels the same way she does because he was both of their dad.
Yeah. The way you keep them alive is to talk about them and to share memories and to reminisce. And no one's doing that with Davy. No one wants to talk about it. And that's got to be really, really frustrating and isolating.
Yeah. So that's the end of chapter 19.
Oh, yeah. All right. So chapter 20. JV. Chapter 20. Davy is going to Jane's house for a sleepover.
Party time.
So fun. Witsy is very impressed that she's going to a home on Bathtub Row, which is where the very high up lab leader, who is Jane's father, lives. So
he's a big wig.
He's total. I gotta take this dog out of here. Hold on. So Davy meets Jane's family, and she already knows all about her family because Jane's filled her in with great detail.
I love the descriptions.
These are good. Do you have these? Do you want to fill us in?
Sure. I pack a small bag and walk over to Jane's house. It is my first visit to Bathtub Row. When I get there, her brother-in-law, Howard, is in the driveway, waxing a pair of skis.
I love that. I don't know why, but that's just great.
Just that he has skis. It was the 80s. Howard is in the driveway, waxing a pair of skis. I've never seen Howard, but Jane has described her whole family to me. Howard is tall and thin and trying to grow a beard. Jane's sister is the first person he ever had sex with, and that was after they were married. I know a lot about Jane's family. I know that her parents make love once a week on Saturday nights.
I forgot about that. Wow.
So yeah, Jane spills it all.
For a couple who's probably been married for 20-something years and they still do it once a week, good for you. So they go up to Jane's room and it's a mess because Jane's purging her closet or something. But I love the note that she has 3 posters on her wall. Do you want to know who the posters are of?
Yes.
I know you do. Jimmy McNichol. And I had to look him up. He was a child actor in a bunch of I
didn't know who any of them were.
He is in... I actually wrote it down in here.
Your poor book.
I know. Oh, he was on Little House on the Prairie, General Hospital, and he hosted the show called Hollywood Teen, which I tried to look up and I couldn't find anything about, but it sounds amazing. And then Eric Hayden, I think it's pronounced Hayden. He's a speed skating icon, apparently.
Oh.
An icon of his time.
That was when the Olympics were big.
Yeah, And then Bjorn Berg, another athlete, Swedish tennis player. He was one of those kind of young, teenage virtuosos at tennis. And tennis was really big in the 70s, 80s.
Right.
Just a young hunk.
Bjorn Borg.
One of the greats, Bjorn. So Bjorn's poster has lipstick kisses all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Davy takes note of that, and Jane's like, oh, that's just how I used to practice blotting my lipstick. And Davy's like, thinking to herself, I know better. She's like, I used to practice kissing on my pillow. She kind of sees through Jane's secret. And I was like, oh my God, just like Nancy from Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
Practicing making out with her pillow.
She is a little bit of a Nancy. She's not mean like Nancy Wheeler, but she has some Nancy Wheeler attributes.
You're talking about? Yeah, she notices things. She noticed that Davy's hands needed a manicure.
Right, she's a busybody.
So Jane and Davy do their nails. Jane asks Davy about her plans for college, and Davy says what we've already heard her say. I don't know if I even want to go to college. No one's going to tell me what to do. I'm paraphrasing there, but she's kind of sounding a little nihilistic right now. She's like, who knows what's going to happen in the future? Why plan that far ahead?
So angsty.
And Jane is sort of impressed, but sort of horrified. She notes that Davy is very brave for saying things like that because she could never do that. She would never be able to disappoint her parents.
Right. She's obviously under a lot of pressure.
Yes. So the phone rings. We get another phone call here.
Oh,
Thank you,
I love
Judy.
the mystery calls.
And it's Ted. Not Ned, but Ted.
We've got a Ted.
He is a boy from school who apparently Jane has a little crush on. And he's calling because he wants to come over with his friend Ruben, who, if you remember, has his eyes on Davy. So there's some hemming and hawing about whether or not they're going to come over because Davy's not super jazzed about it, and Jane's eager to please. So she's like, "Well, if you don't want them to come over, I can tell them not to." And
maybe we'll just take a walk around the block.
Yeah, she she wants them to come over, but she also doesn't want to anger her new friend.
Yeah.
And Davy's like, "No, fine, it's fine." And then they have a great conversation about their experience with boys. Would you like to read that with me?
Oh, sure.
117.
I'm Jane. This is Alice, and I'm Jane. Do you have a lot of experience?
In what?
With boys?
Oh, boys.
Do you?
Not much.
How much?
Some.
I don't have any. I've kissed 2 boys, and that's it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. What else is there to worry about? Not counting school.
And then Davy notes to herself, sometimes Jane seems so innocent. I can't believe we're the same age.
You know how I found out about sex?
No, how?
I looked it up in the card catalog in the library.
Really?
Really? You'd think that with 2 older sisters, someone would have given me the facts. But when I asked them, they'd say, go ask Mother. And when I asked my mother, she said, you're too young to be asking about that. You'd think that they'd give us sex education in school, wouldn't you? I mean, it's all in the best interest of science.
And they both laugh. Ha 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 ha.
So how far have you gone?
And then Davy ignores her. She's like, oh, thanks. They look nice, looking at her nails.
All the way?
No, not all the way.
Close?
No, not even close. And then I like this part, though. Davy says, I don't tell her about Hugh. I don't tell her about the hot, sweaty summer nights, about the salty taste of his lips, about his body pressed against mine. That's not for sharing. Not with Jane. Not with anyone.
Ooh.
Damn, girl.
You don't kiss and tell.
Yeah. I mean, pretty commendable.
Yeah.
I don't remember being so demure.
It's very mature.
Yeah. Then
she takes a bath.
Oh, yeah. Which...
Did
you ever sleep over at your friend's house and take a bath?
No, but James, my husband, probably has.
Oh, yeah. He loves baths, huh?
He loves baths so much that he's maybe done that.
Yeah, she takes a bath, but she's also like interested in this bathtub for historical purposes, which I thought was really funny. And she imagines Oppenheimer in the bath thinking of his ideas. We're reminded that Oppenheimer still, decades later, is considered like a god up on the hill.
Right.
You know, this is a totally new generation, but they still speak about him.
Oppenheimer.
A cult leader, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's in the tub, she thinks about that night back at home.
We learn a lot.
Yes.
It makes me really sad.
Yeah. So that night, she and Hugh were sitting on the boardwalk eating ice cream. He's trying to convince her to take a walk on the beach for some alone time. You know, they just want to make out. But Davy's a good daughter. She says, no, I can't go because I promised my parents I'd stay off the beach at night. That's like their number one rule.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up going to the backyard to make out. I think Judy's words would say it much better than mine. So Hugh and I walked home and went directly to the small yard behind the store. I leaned back against the willow tree. The single light from the store cast a shadow on the scrubby grass. Hugh's arms were around me, his lips on my face, my neck. His breath was hot. So hot. That's just my side note. I clutched his damp t-shirt as he slid his hand from my shoulder to the top of my halter, to my waist, and then back up again. The smell of my Charlie was in the air. From the store, we could hear a symphony playing on my father's radio. We were both breathing hard. Hugh's body was pressed against mine, and he whispered, Davy, oh Davy. My knees were so weak I wanted to lie down. To lie down in Hugh's arms and let whatever might happen, happen. Whatever. Allison and I, we are looking at each other with huge eyes right now. Davy.
Damn, girl.
But then we heard a firecracker, and another, and another, and another. Hugh pulled away from me, saying, what the hell? Then both of us were running towards the store.
We didn't realize that, you know, Davy was so close and that she was going to be right there. And no wonder she doesn't like the sight of blood. I just can't imagine. This is just so awful.
And no wonder, like, there's that sense of guilt, too. You know, we couldn't figure out where this guilt came from. And it's because she was making out with her boyfriend in the backyard. Mm-hmm. I mean, oh, man. And that's it.
Just everything. All of it. So sad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we ended.
Well, I wanted to keep reading just because how can you leave off on that note? But I guess kind of a cliffhanger is like kind of fun too.
Yeah. We're building suspense over here on the Blume Saloon. Very serious suspense.
Seriously.
I'm serious. And I'm serious about saying, wow, what an episode.
Wowee. Thank you so much for sticking with us for our special reports. If you can't tell, we love doing special reports. So
we're really good at internet research. So please humor us and listen. Tell all your friends.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you to Tyler Barber for the beautiful music. Mm-hmm. Our beautiful, beautiful theme song.
Yep. Thank you to Bronwyn and Kim for writing us beautiful, beautiful letters.
Thank you both so much. We really appreciated those.
If you've written us a review, thank you for the beautiful review on iTunes. I think they call it Apple Podcasts now or something. It's called something different. I don't understand.
I'm going to call it iTunes forever.
Okay, it's just iTunes. Let's strike up some conversations in our Facebook group.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Mm-hmm. And we'll post all of our research.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
We're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bye.
Bye.